Italy has gone the opposite direction with the EU. As China has grown tremendously, they seek new partners all around the world, from South America, Africa, and every other region. The EU has been trying to counter the growth of China, and now with China's Belt and Road Initiative, they will only grow stronger and stronger. Clearly, this is going to escalate tensions between Italy and their overlord masters in the EU. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to talk about the deal that was signed in between China and Italy. I do believe this is a pivotal moment in what we will talk about in future discussions. Geopolitical tensions are rising in the EU itself, in Asia, and other parts of the world. So we'll get into some detail today and I'll tell you exactly what has happened. You are seeing this map. I've seen several of these. This is just basically a concept looking at where they want to expand to. You can see that it's made its way up from Africa into Greece and Italy and beyond. And so this is what they're trying to establish here. This has been something that has been going on for years. China has expanded into the financing that they've done with the AIIB. They're trying to become the new world power. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year, but they will definitely expand as time goes on. They have an extremely big hurdle to cross, being able to actually get their own people to consume more. The population is massive. They are already consuming the most amount of cars, cell phones, and basically everything else. But based on their population, they need to expand further and further. They need to export more. They're going to need to import more, obviously. And so they want to establish all these trade routes. They want to have partners, and they want to be able to do business with people that maybe the West isn't so happy about. So this is going to expand throughout time, and I, of course, will talk about it with you as these events take place. So let's cover a few articles today, and this one is out of The Guardian. Italy and China in plan for new Silk Road style trade network. The president visited Rome as Italy becomes the first G7 country to back the Belt and Road Initiative. I think it's important to understand that more recently we have seen Italy's new government battling back and forth with the EU. They have been disagreeing on just about everything. I'll talk more about that in a second, but think about this for a moment. If in the event Italy were to actually leave the EU, which I'm not suggesting that they will, but having a partner like China is huge. There's no doubt about that. And we could have also, if the Brexit ever does happen, maybe 1,000 years from now, they would be able to get in with this and they could obviously do business. China is looking for new trade partners, and obviously this is just going to expand as the years go on. Italy resisted the entreaties and warnings of its European Union and American allies on Saturday by officially joining China's vast new Silk Road. At a signing ceremony with the president of China, he came in, they did a big deal, and it was a big ceremony apparently. But what's important to note here is that they went against what the West has been trying to really achieve, and that is putting a big gap in between China and everybody else. The agreement will build a better relationship in between China and Italy, and I do believe that is accurate. And here they make some comments about how this is the first of the group of 7 nations that once dominated the global economy to take part in China's One Belt, One Road project, which makes enormous infrastructure investments to move Chinese goods and resources throughout Asia, Africa, and Europe. I do believe this will have a positive impact on China as well as those who agree to this. It's going to be mutually beneficial for them, but not so good for the US and their domination. The Eurozone's third largest economy is actually a smaller Chinese investment and trading partner than its EU peers, but the willingness to catch up and Italy's political situation create the conditions for the country to break ranks with the other G7 resistance to endorse the Chinese project. There are more details in this article if you want to check it out for yourself. I just want to move on to some charts. Looking at this, Chinese greenfield investment into the EU, you can see clearly the UK is on the top of the list. This is going from 2009 up until 2018, showing you very clearly at the top we have the UK, then Germany, then France. These are big economies, there's no doubt about that. Italy, on the other hand, is way down. I mean, almost negligible when you see the totals there in comparison to these other countries. countries, but that's going to expand for sure as these years go on, as their connection and bond strengthens. We'll see what happens. Chinese investment and construction into Europe from 2005 to 2018. Again, the UK on the top here, but it changes a little bit with Italy being in the 5th largest. And that shows us that there has been investment from China into Italy. This has been obviously a very positive relationship, and the people actually agree. So I will show you something about that in just a second. But interestingly, we have Switzerland here in the number 2 spot. So clearly, China is not just partnering up with others in Asia, with Russia. They are expanding far beyond that. They're going basically everywhere they can, and it seems that this has really allowed this country to have strategic partnerships all around the world. Exports to China, share of extra EU 28 goods exports. This is in percentage terms. We're looking at Germany, France, the UK, Italy, and the Eurozone as a whole. Germany, obviously, at the top of the list. Again, most people wouldn't be surprised with that. But Italy is far down there, and that has to change for this to work, for it to be mutually beneficial. And I do believe that it will. China's looking for more partners. Italy is really getting some headwinds from their overlords, and so they need to change this. They need to be able to grow. They need to be able to expand, and they want to do this right now. It comes really at a good time. So that's perhaps what has happened. Maybe China extended its hand and say, hey, I see what's going on. Maybe we can make a deal. The Chinese deals under the Belt and Road Initiative are, this is a percentage of Italian respondents. This happens to be from a year ago, but I'm sure that this is equal to or even greater than we saw just 1 year ago. A great opportunity. Over 50% of the people believe that what's happening is good. Over 30% of the people say that it is a risk, and so they see the potential dangers here. This could be a problem, but of course, they're going for it whether they like it or not. That's the way that these governments all work. It's as if they had a Brexit vote and they said the people want to exit, and then here we are years later, nobody gives a damn. Investment in infrastructure, real growth, fixed capital formation in other building and structures. Here you can see that Italy has fallen way below where it was prior to the financial crisis. At the opposite end of the spectrum, obviously, Germany is there. Italy's economy is hurting very bad right now, and they need to expand, they need the growth, they need to fix the problems, they need to get things under control, and this is one way for them to find a strategic partner that they can do business with, and they can expand their investments. Italy's head of state told the president of China that this new Silk Road linking Europe and Asia must be a, quote, two-way street, addressing the concerns among Western allies that the colossal infrastructure project is meant merely to amplify Beijing's global influence. And of course, it is. That's what it's all about. But that's the exact same thing that every other country would do. They want to dominate. I don't necessarily blame one particular country or the other for wanting that. This is what empires do. They expand, and they try to dominate. Further along in the article, the program aims to invest in ports, roads, airports, and railways in Asia, Africa, and Europe to create a conduit for trade and China's construction industry. Both the US and Italy's European partners, however, see it as a threat as China seeks to project its power. Well, the truth is, what's happening between the US and Europe right now are more rising tensions, so this could very well change. We could see more countries actually signing up with China and getting this to expand even further. There's actually a lot of detail in this article out of the AP, so if you want to read more into the Belt and Road Initiative, the Silk Road, definitely check this one out. The link will be in the description as always. German conservatives eye sanctions for EU debt ceiling violators. Without getting into too much detail, what we have today is that the EU and Italy are not seeing eye to eye, and you have Germany that's clearly one of the most powerful nations. They have so much control over what happens in the EU, and this is going at this perfect time because we have China and Italy shaking hands while Europe is telling Italy you're going to face sanctions for violating your debt ceiling and not sticking to the treaties that you've signed and so on. So we could definitely see this partnership between Italy and China expand very rapidly if they're able to do so. I'm going to keep my eyes on this, and I will definitely bring some videos to you. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a like on this video, you are supporting me, you're supporting the channel and the truth, so I do appreciate that very much. And last but not least, if you want the financial education you were not taught in school, these two books have everything you need. I'll give you all the details about the foundation, the history, the asset classes. I talk a lot about China and here in the relationship between them and the US. Lots to cover that I simply cannot on the channel. Check it out at the link in the description if you want the audiobook version. That's available at themoneygps.com. If you want to know about China's $32 trillion secret, click on this video and I will see you there.